Hi there everyone, this is David Dubeau, publisher of Canadian Profits, here with this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV. So I'm a little bit under the weather because I was smart aleck last week and poor old Wagner and I went out in minus 25 degree weather to film an episode. Wagner got sick. I kind of scoffed at him about that, but then he came back to the office and got me sick. And now here I am with a cold all stuffed up and what have you. So if my voice sounds a little different, I'm a little nasally, that's the reason. So that aside, what are we talking about this week? So for our business breakthroughs, I just had a fantastic Canadian Business Profits interview with sales master Dave Van Hoos. I'm going to share one of his number one mistakes people make when it comes to sales. Business people, self-employed professionals, salespeople, number one mistake most of us make when it comes to sales. For our real estate tips, I'm going to be answering a question from one of our viewers. And for our Mindset Minute, I'm going to share a second-hand tip, idea, strategy from Bob Proctor. So stay tuned for this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV. Okay, so for a business breakthrough, I want to talk about the number one mistake most salespeople make, most people who are in business for themselves that have to promote their own business, self-employed professionals, etc. The biggest mistake we make when it comes to sales, according to Dave Van Hoos, who knows what he's talking about. The guy is one of the best salespeople I've ever seen. The number one mistake is we don't work with a script. We wing it. And if there's anybody who is phenomenal at creating sales scripts and really pegging it down and practicing it, it's Dave Van Hoos. I've gotten to know Dave quite well. He comes from a sports background, so he's very accustomed to the old idea of practice makes perfect. And actually some of the better sales guys that I've met, Big Bob Molly's another phenomenal sales guy, have this sports background and have that discipline of practicing, learning, and getting things pegged down right. So Dave Van Hoos highly recommends working from a very well-designed script to make your sales calls much smoother, much more effective, and much more reliable. Because there's nothing worse than being loosey-goosey and getting one result one time, completely different results the other time, and you really don't know why you got the really good results once and not the other time. Because if you're changing things all over the place, you can't be consistent. So that's the business breakthrough. When it comes to your sales, make sure you're working with a good script. All right, so we've got our real estate tip for this week. I'm going to share a question that came in from one of our viewers, Don. He says, hey Dave, I'm enjoying the information you're providing. Thank you very much, Don. I have a bungalow, we talked a little bit about the size of it, in a nice area of Regina. I'm getting $1,600 per month rent with approximately $400 a month positive cash flow. Well, first of all, that's very good positive cash flow on a single family house in the first place, Don. He talks about the market value of the house. And I've been thinking of because of the tight rental situation in Regina, is it to possibly do a furnished short-term rental, executive suites, for short-term project engineers, managers, etc. Question is a 3-bedroom too big for short-term rentals, and do you have any suggestions? So, very good question. Thanks for that, Don. He also says, I've also thought of a rent-to-own when the lease is up at the end of June. If I keep renting the house, I'd like to increase the rent by up to $100 a month. There's a lot going on in Regina with this. So it sounds like the bottom line goal is you want to increase your revenues from the property by $100 a month. If you're already getting $400 a month, you're doing very well. To get the extra $100, if you want to turn it into executive suites, yes, that's going to increase the value of it. It's furnished executive suites. You can charge a lot more for that. In fact, you should be able to get significantly more than an additional $100 a month. So if you're currently renting it out for for $1,600, if you do it as a furnished executive suite, you'd probably be getting closer to $2,000 a month for that sort of a situation. 3-bedroom, is it too big? Not necessarily. If you're going after executives with families that are moving in, they're in that transition period, they're coming to town, they're getting in, they haven't bought their own property yet, that could be a very good possibility for them as well. Or other situations could be house sharing. So you've got a company that has a couple of different executives sharing the same house, each person with their own room, sharing the kitchen, that sort of thing. So different options there. I don't think 3 bedrooms too big. Again, I don't have personal experience with that. I know a few people who do this kind of things. I don't think 3 bedrooms is too big. If you do it on a rent-to-own basis, that is a very, very good option. However, at the end of the term, you have to sell the house. So there goes your positive cash flow. If you have to sell it, then you have to turn around and do it over again. So hopefully that helps you out, Don. And if you have any questions about business or real estate, feel free to send them in to me. And if I answer your question on the show, you're going to get a prize, and you're going to be put in a draw for a bigger prize as well. So thanks a lot. That's your real estate tip for this week. All right, so for this week's Mindset Minute, I want to give you a second-hand tip from Bob Proctor, who's a very, very well-known Canadian self-development guru. He was on The Secret. He's very, very well-known worldwide. That he's an older gentleman now, getting up there, but just going after it, still very, very strong, putting on lots of events, lots of seminars, and he's a guru to the gurus in the self-improvement industry. Anyhow, this tip I got indirectly, secondhand, from my good friend Lori Roudness. So Lori and I are actually doing a Diamond webinar tonight, and if you're interested in finding out about the Diamond program and what we have to offer, click on one of the banners to the right and you can find out all about that and get signed up for tonight's webinar. But anyhow, getting back to the topic, the secondhand tip from Bob Proctor is about giving yourself positive pressure to accomplish your goals. So that's our topic for tonight, is how to accomplish our goals, really get in there and do it. The tip that Lori took from Bob was that if you really want something and it's a stretch for you, go out and buy it, and that will give you the pressure, the positive pressure you need to make the money to pay for the thing that you just bought. Now he says, be very, very careful. Don't do like most Canadian consumers do, which is just go crazy on credit cards and buy everything they want and not think about it. No, that's not the purpose. The idea is, let's say you've got, in Lori's case, she and her husband always wanted a boat. So he always had a picture of a boat up, but they never, it was always too tight, it was too expensive, this, that, the other thing. She heard about this. She and her husband went down to the showroom, bought the boat. It was a stretch for them. They bought that boat, they were sweating, but she figured she used that as a positive motivator to make her business more successful, to get the revenue she needed to pay for that boat. Now they've upgraded that. They're now on their 4th boat. Absolutely gorgeous. It's worked very, very well for Lori. So thanks to Bob Proctor for that idea. And it could be something that could work for you, but just do it smart. Don't go and do something crazy and get yourself into debt way beyond what you can afford. But if you do it smart, it can be a very good positive motivator. That's your Mindset Minute for this week. All right, thanks very much for tuning in to this week's episode of Canadian Profits TV. I want to send out a big shout out and a big welcome to the 107 new Canadian Profits members who've just joined our ranks this month, who've taken a test drive of the Canadian Profits program. If you're interested in finding out more about that and getting a free copy of my new book, Rent-to-Own Profits for Canadians, click on the banner to the side there, or visit rent-to-own-profits-for-canadians.ca. That's rent-to-own-profits-for-canadians.ca. It's a limited time offer. Check it out or click on the banner to the right. Thanks a lot. I've got to get back to work. Got a big event coming up this weekend. We've got our first, speaking of rent-to-own, our first Rent-to-Own Profits Summit this weekend here in Kamloops. We've got, I believe, 43 or 45 folks coming in to learn all about rent-to-own real estate investing. So I got to get back to work and prepare for that event. Take care. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
I have a membership program called Canadian Profits. It focuses on Canadianized information, education, and inspiration for business owners and real estate investors. This is the best place to get this kind of specialized information, 100% Canadian oriented. Monthly newsletter, audio CD success interviews, members only website, webinars, teleclasses, events, the list goes on. I want to encourage people who are not members already to go ahead and take a test drive of the program and get a free book by clicking one of the banners to the right of this video, or visit www.canadianprofits.ca.